Okay, so when you open up the Canvas page for the train, you will have a set of instructions that you need to download that are in a PDF file. It will look like this. It will have each of the parts listed that you'll be making, how many of them that there are. It will have an exploded view of the train, how the parts will all kind of be assembled together. And then you have each one of the parts and the measurements for them. First part that we are going to focus on making is the actual train body itself. So when you go to make the train body, there are multiple different ways that you can make this. Me personally, I'm going to make the overall body like a big rectangle, and then I'm going to cut sections out to make it look like the train. So I want to get the overall dimensions, 5.5 in length, 2.0 in depth, and then the height, which it doesn't really give us anywhere on the main portion. It gives us down here. Height is 0.375, as well as the radius for the top of this arc, which would be the top of the train, which would be 2.35. So we have to add that together to get the size of the box for the train. So I'm going to go ahead and make a rectangle, and it's going to go 5.5. And then for the height, I'm going to hit the front button so I can actually see it. Hopefully it zooms out all the way, and it didn't. So I'm going to scroll out. The height is going to be 2.35 plus 0.375. So 2.35 plus 0.375. So you double check, make sure your measurements are right. Hit enter. So I have the overall height. Finish the sketch. Go ahead and extrude the train to 2. And then from here, I'm going to rotate to this view so it looks like this one. And I'm going to right click, set current view as home, fit to view. And then I have the overall length, height, and depth of the object. Next thing that we're going to do is the front portion of the train right here. We're going to make this part going back. So I'm going to go ahead and start on the front. And we're going to do this area right here going up. They give this dimension. You need to follow these leader lines all the way over. From here to here, it's this one right here. So it goes up 0.88. Hit enter. You can do the same thing on the other side. Line it up. And then the next thing that we're going to do, they don't give us the dimension right here to go over. They give us the radius for the circle. So what we'll do is we'll place a point right in the middle. We'll go up. And we're just going to click and place it because I'm going to use the dimension tool. Dimension from here to here. Right there. To the base, 1.38. This is where the center of the circle is going to be. So I can now make the radius 0.75, but since we're doing a circle, it's diameter. So you can either do 0.75 times 2, or if you know the math, you can just put 1.50. And it will make your circle. Next thing we do is we connect this to this edge right here. And make sure you keep it straight. And don't accidentally go up like this. Click. And then we have most of what we need done. Since we want to cut out this top section so that we leave just this circle going back, I'm going to go ahead and draw the outline going all the way around. I'm going to go ahead and click there, finish, hit extrude, and then, oops, for some reason it started another sketch instead of actually extruding. Let's go ahead and delete this one. Extrude, and then I want to click on this top portion and set to cut. Now, the distance back is not given right here, so we have to do some subtraction. We have the overall, which is 5.5, and then we have this distance right here, which is 1.75. So if we take this and we do 5.5 minus 1.75, it gives us the leftover distance. So then we have that portion of the train done. So we have that. Now the next part that we're going to do is, well, we can either do this portion or we can do the top portion. Let's go ahead and go to the back side and do the, actually, let's do the side. We're going to cut out this arch first. We'll do this little part. We're going to go ahead and make a line going up. The distance of this line is not really going to matter yet. Actually, instead of a line, we're going to make a point. I'm going to set it right here, and then we're going to use the dimension tool to distance it from here. The middle of this circle, or arc that we're going to make, is 1.75. Now, the next thing I could do, I could make the arc that they have right here, but there's a little piece right here where there's a straight line. So I'm going to make the arc first. I'm actually going to delete it in a minute, but since it has a radius of 0.5, I'm going to make the diameter 1. And then I'm actually going to make my line from right here at the top. Then I'm going to make it go over 0.25 and enter. And then I'm going to delete this. I was just kind of using it as a placeholder. I'm going to use the circle tool again, find my spot. 1. Go over here, same thing, line it up, very top of the circle, and then click. Now, I could do this a couple of ways. I could bring the line tool straight over like this and close this, and then I can hit trim, and I can get rid of this edge. I could probably hit trim and get rid of this, as well as this. From here, I can hit finish, and I can extrude this, set it to cut, and go all the way through. Once you've done that, you now have that section cut out for right here. The next part that we will make is the arch that's on the top. So we're going to start a sketch on the back of this, and we're going to look at the measurements down here. We have a point here that is 0.375 up and halfway through the object, and then we have this big arc that goes 0.235. So what I will do is, again, make a point right here in the middle. And there are other ways to do this. The reason I'm doing it this way is because I still want you guys to get used to using the dimension tool. So it tells me it's 0.375 up. Go ahead and set that to 0.375. And then I'm going to make a circle. Or you could do an arc if you wanted to. And I could go all the way to the top. Or I could type in 2.35 times 2. And it will take it to the top for me. Next thing that you want to do, go to the edge right here. And I'm just going to go all the way up here because it really doesn't matter. And I'm going to connect to that point, finish the sketch, and I'm only going to extrude the top portion up here. That's what I want to get this part. So if for some reason it doesn't let you extrude, go back in, hit the arc for this one, try that again, see if it'll let us extrude it this time. There we go. Set it to cut, and it really doesn't matter, just as long as it's all the way, hit OK. And now we have that portion. I don't like the way that that looks, so I'm going to redraw the circle again. And I'm going to hit this point, like that. And hopefully when I extrude it this time, and I go all the way through, it doesn't leave that. So if it keeps doing that, you might have to redraw the circle. So what I'm going to do is, it's going to bug me. So I'm going to undo everything. And I'm actually going to redraw my circle. And I'm just going to find the center point. I'm going to make the circle, what did we say it was? 0.235 times 2. And I want to make sure that the center of this circle is 0.375 away from here. And then this time I will actually go to the edge and I will go across like this. Finish, hit extrude, and then just that portion right there. So that time it gave me the smooth edge. So sometimes it'll look right, sometimes it won't, sometimes it just needs to be redone. So as long as you get the smooth edge, yours should be fine. The next thing that we'll make are the, all right, we can go ahead and finish the circle that's on the back. So go back to the back side. And I'm going to rotate this. I'm going to go ahead and make a circle. And again, it's 0.375 away from the edge. And it tells you right here that this hole has a diameter of 0.25. So 0.25. And then it also tells you that the hole goes down a depth of 0.5. So I'm going to go ahead and make sure that the hole is in the right spot, first of all. So click on the center and here. And again, it's 0.375. And then I'm going to extrude this. And it cuts in 0.5. Just like that. You hit OK. Hit the home button. You have the hole in the back. Now we are going to do the holes on the side really quick. So I'm going to go ahead and start a sketch. And when we make the hole on the side, they're telling us to use the hole tool. So what we'll do is we will create points to use the hole tool. And I'm going to go ahead and place these. And I'll place the first one, and then we'll dimension this away from the edge here. Looks like it goes over 1. And it comes up from the base here, 0.5. So we'll set this to 0.5. So there's our first hole. And then our second point is going to be over here. And it says that this point is, let's see, 4.5 away from this edge. So we're actually going to dimension from here to here, 4.5. We now have the hole, or the placeholders for the hole. Once you have that done, we're going to finish the sketch. We're going to hit the hole tool, and it's going to select those by default. When it does that, it's telling you that it wants a 1/4 inch hole, 20 UNC, and it wants it to go through ×2. So to do that, you're going to select right here, third option. You have 4 different options. This is the threaded option. Gives you a lot of different choices here. It's a regular hole. We know that it is 1/4 inch, so this is 0.25, 1/4, 20 UNC, and that it wants it to go through the entire thing. So all the way through all, just like this. And then you can hit OK. And you will see that it has these little threads, and it does this on both sides. Now, if the thread does not go all the way through, like you see here, then you can go back and edit this, and it's asking what the thread is. So we're gonna set the thread to 2. That's the entire distance. So now it threads all the way to the other side. So we have threads going all the way through, and we have the hole on each side. Next thing that we'll do is the holes on the front. We're going to start a sketch here on the front side. And I'll zoom in a little bit. Again, we are going to, with these ones, I'm just going to use points and place the holes. You could just use the hole tool if you wanted to. That's totally your call. But the way I'll do it is, again, place the point tool. And I'm going to place this first one, and I'm going to dimension this one. It is 0.375 away from here. 0.375. We have that in place. And then the height for it is right here. It's a small one. They give you that dimension down here. 0.125, I believe. Let me double check that. 0.125. Yes. So this is where it's supposed to be. You could do the same thing with the hole on this side. So we can make this point, line it up, use the dimension tool. It's at the same height. So the only thing I need to do is make sure it's 0.375. Definitely not 0.375. Let's try that again. There we go. Now that one's in place. The next one is right in the middle. So we'll just go ahead and line this one up. Try not to hit one of those other lines that you have in place. It's kind of one of those bad things with this. So I'm going to place it here. And then I'm going to dimension this one away from the edge down here. And it says that this one goes up right here, 0.625. So 0.625. So that's where that hole is supposed to be. We're going to hit finish sketch. And then we are going to use the hole tool. This time it's just a regular hole. It doesn't have any special UNC or anything. It's just a regular hole. So I switched it to this one. It does have an endpoint. So we want to change it from through all the distance. Make sure the drill point is set to flat. And then we want to say, let it know how far it goes. So it tells us the diameter is 0.125. So this is the diameter right here. Okay. So 0.125. So set this to 0.125. And then the distance that it goes in depth, 0.125. It tells you right here that it goes down 0.125. So same thing, 0.125. So you have that, you have your 3 holes. You have a flat surface, so make sure that the surface is flat so that you don't have the wrong one in there. And you should be good on the front part. So we have the front, the side holes, and the back. And the last thing that we need to worry about is this top portion. Top portion is a little different. To make the hole on a round surface, we need to use a plane tool. So we want to place a plane on this rounded surface. So we click plane, and we want to actually put it on this surface right here. So we click here on this flat surface, and then we hover up here, and it will let us place that plane. Once you have that plane in place, we can start a sketch on that surface, and then we can make a hole. I'm just going to use the circle tool this time, and I'm going to place a circle that is 0.5 in diameter, so set it to 0.5. You could use a point if you wanted to. I'm going to dimension the center of the circle away from this edge, 0.88. Finish the sketch, hit extrude, set it to cut. The distance it gives us is 0.25, so we change it to 0.25. And hit OK. From here, we're going to right click, turn the plane visibility off, and you should have something that looks like this. All dimensions are in place. You have the holes for the axis, the hole for the hitch peg later, and for the cow catcher on the front. So save your file as train, body, and then move on to the next part.